Live at 420 Wallaby Way, Sydney.
No. Previously,
Address
last
for Nemo.
week. For the past several days, the talk of the streets and the taverns has all been around the so-called Deathcurse, a wasting disease afflicting anyone who's ever been raised from the dead. Victims grow thinner and weaker each day, slowly but steadily sliding towards death that they once denied. When they finally succumb, they can't be raised, and neither can anyone else, regardless of whether they've ever received that miracle in the past. Temples and scholars of divine magic are at a loss to explain a curse that has affected the entire region and possibly the entire world. You all have been called by your friend, Silvana Syndra, to aid her in figuring out just what the hell is going on. Each one of you has been invited to the home of Syndra Silvane. Wow, I messed that name up bad. Goddamn memory. Whole piece of shit. A retired adventurer and merchant. A uniformed attendant leads you up to the grand staircase of the third floor, and some of you, as you make your way through the misty streets of Baldur's Gate, you'll notice some of these other adventurers all making their way to the same destination of Syndra's home. I would like to go through, and as each one of you arrive and are escorted one by one as of this fancy mansion home, what each of you sees from each other. What do your characters look like?
Shall we start from the top of the Discord name?
I'll go first.
Alright.
Sounds fine to me. When you look at Grok, you can see he's very muscular. He's got thick green muscles, and he doesn't have a shirt on because he likes to show off his cool dragon tattoo. It is black as the night, and you can see that it is not just a normal tattoo. It seems to move like the wind across his chest. And as he walks up, you can see his gigantic hammer sway behind him. You can tell he's a tough cookie, but you could tell there's something more to him than meets the eye.
Mysterious meat sack. Awesome. Thank you very much, Grok.
Thank you.
Grok, as
Alrighty,
you walk
so-
in. Yeah, go for it, man.
No, you go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, yeah, Grok, you walk in. It is a big fancy mansion. You look a little out of place, but yeah, you look over and you see this jelly man.
Yeah. What you see is just a little ball of blue slime with two glowing pseudo eyes, and he's about 4 feet tall, just a round orb of slime, and kind of just bounces in place. Good little oops and wee noises.
The attendant
just
actually
a
comes
smile,
over to
yeah.
you, and he's trying to like put down a tarp. He's trying to because you're leaving a bit of a slime. He's like, excuse me, sir, this carpet that you're on is very expensive. It's one of a kind. I'm afraid. Would you mind trying to contain yourself somehow? Would you mind? Could you stand on this container here? Is that possible at all?
And Jellybean just kind of climbs up the container and stands on top of it.
Oh, goodness gracious. It's very much appreciated. Dripping off a little bit on that. That's fine. That's, okay. All right. Yes, this way, up the stairs, please. Then the rest of you go ahead and arrive as you see this, there's like a waiter trying to like put down little pee pads like for a dog in front of Jellybean because each one of his steps is leaving like a visible mark in the very fancy like hardwood and upholstery. So, and then there's a yoked orc right next to him. That's gonna be a mountain man, or it's gonna be you, Rasvin.
Raisvin.
Raisvin?
Yep. Repeat that. Sorry.
You're seeing a couple people walk up to the stairs to a fancy mansion that you've been summoned to by your friend Syndra.
Alright, gonna look around since he's not from here. What does he see from the mansion? Just some stairs?
So you've walked into this foyer of an extremely fancy mansion. You're seeing the inside is just wonderfully illuminated by all these different colors from the stained glass windows that front this entire mansion. And the scenes that you see on it are like you see a huge armored figure on the ground holding an arm up trying to defend itself as this group of adventurers like strike him down. You see a massive green dragon spewing an intense violent wave of poisonous gas as the same adventurers like circle around. Yeah, there are all these action scenes of these like wonderful moments from adventuring from these stained glass that just cast a beautiful array of colors all over this deep mahogany hardwood. The railing curls around on these like two stairways that arch around and meet at the top of this entryway. And on one side, this big old jelly man is trying to very carefully step one by one onto these like pads that this waiter is putting out one at a time in front of each one of the steps. And next to him is a hefty boy, is a big old orc.
Okay, there's a lot of action going on. Why am I here in the first place? That's my question.
At this point, they kind of get to the top of the stairs, and the waiter, very flustered, looks back down. Yes, sir, we've been expecting you. Please come this way. Raisvin? Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, Raisvin. That's my name.
Raisvin, please. Syndra's expecting you. I take it that it's very important that you make good time, please. We don't have no time to waste. This way, sir. And he like does the thing where you come downstairs, but you don't really bend your knees. He's a very wooden posture, and he like grabs you by the arm and starts leading you up. At about this time,
he doesn't resist.
You find yourselves joining the orc and the jellyman as this group of you start making your way down this very wonderfully adorned hallway. You're seeing this awesome pieces of art hung on the wall, these fabulous paintings, statues of nudes, and things that are almost as buff as Grok. I mean, the whoever chiseled these statues tried to have as good of imagination as, they tried to make them as buff as possible, but they couldn't just quite achieve perfection that Grok was born with.
Okay.
Then we got Tarast and Zerdos. You both come up to the door at the same time, and you have that moment where you're not sure which one of you is going to enter the doorway first. There doesn't seem to be anyone there to greet you, so you're like, doors open, should we just walk in? And you're like, you first. No, you first.
Oh, please, right after you, sir.
So you're a friend of Syndra too?
That's
I
right.
presume. Wonderful to meet you. I'm Terrorist.
Zerdos, pleasure.
Pleasure.
As both of you.
I go first.
Tarast, as you enter, and Zerdos quickly behind this very stacked, marbly dwarf. Dwarf, right?
Yeah, dwarf.
Not so. Yeah, but you guys make it into the entryway, and you see this movement at the top of the stairs, and once again, the butler waves you up the stairs. Ah, yes, this way. Please, Syndra is expecting you, Terost and Zerdos, correct? Lovely, good, glad you're here. Thank goodness you've arrived in time.
It seemed quite urgent. What's the matter?
It's very grave. I would prefer that the mistress explained it to you. I'm not really sure what's happening. I mean, you've heard of the Deathcurse, I'm sure. The rumors have been all over town for days now. It's pretty sure it's related to that, but I best allow the head of the household to explain.
Well, let's not lose any time then.
Absolutely.
Great.
You both led up the stairs and then over across and catching up with the rest of the group are led in to this grand, it's just a wonderfully appointed bedroom. The uniformed attendant goes up through the second, then the third floor with you all and ushers you into a wood-paneled room with a fireplace, comfortable chairs, and a heavy table bearing goblets and bottles of wine. The darkly paneled walls are hung with maps and sea charts. Racks, shelves, cabinets hold hundreds more rolled-up matsman charts. This is clearly the home of someone who's had the rich personal experience of traveling, of navigating the entire world, and has set it to themselves personally to map and chart their travels. And the wealth of knowledge in this bedroom, this study/bedroom, is impressive by anyone's standards. This is most likely this most centralized knowledge of navigation, of cartography that you've ever seen in one place. And as you look over through this room, you notice that from the chill, the continual fog, and the socked-in nature of Baldur's Gate, and particularly today is one very misty day, the drizzle just soaks right through everything and makes it quite cold outside. But as you come into this room, the dry heat of the fireplace gives you a moment of pause as it's almost stuffy. It's downright sweltering, and some of you just, that transition from the wet, cold, just the chill of the outside of Baldur's Gate, and then coming in here, you're starting to get the little pinpricks of sweat coming through the dampness of your clothes already. And as you look across this room, you see a person seated in an overstuffed chair near the fire. You can't discern a gender because only their head emerges from under a heavy blanket draped over the chair. An embroidered hood masks their face. It creates a little bit of shadow over them, and then as you look and you come around to see the person and look under the hood, you see that their face is concealed by a silver mask. Every person's dry, and now as they begin to talk to you, their dry, raspy voice, it provides no clue as to who they are.
Friends, help yourselves to some wine and see yourselves. I believe I can call most of you friends, but you have to understand the favors that I called in. I am between a rock and a hard place, and I regret having to play hardball with some of you, but please, friends, make yourselves comfortable.
Rock in a hard place.
Look, Grok, it's no time for your famous humor. And Tarast, I do apologize. I did not mean to use a rock pun there. This is a serious matter I call you here for.
I hope it's important.
Very important, yes, friend.
So what are you seeking?
You've all heard the rumors of the Deathcurse, I'm sure. It's nothing that scuttlebutt of the taverns. It's completely consumed everyone's imagination. But I'm afraid for me it's come to a more personal point. Years ago, I was an adventurer, and I died once. I was raised from the dead, and I have since closed the door on that stage of life. However, the death curse you've heard about has struck me. I don't know how much longer I'll be lasting before I perish. The death curse claims me, but the clerics, they've been of no help, and they can't offer me anything. They're stymied by what's happening, and I have nothing more than the rumors that have been drifting around. I've been able to contact the sources and pinpoint what I can. I have contacts within the Harpers and have learned the cause of the death curse.
What?
It doesn't leave the room. It's important that I can trust you all to keep this confidential. If the forces out there were to know that we are onto them, they might be able to stymie our efforts to end it.
Grog, key promise.
Thank you, Grog.
Lips are sealed shut.
Thank you, Trust. I appreciate your directness, Grog, and Trust, your loyalty. Thank you all. And I promise to make this worth your while. We will each be extremely well rewarded if you're able to successfully complete this mission, and I will come with you. This death curse is caused by a necromantic artifact called the Soulmonger. According to the Soulmonger.
Can you explain to us what is it? Huh?
It's a necromantic artifact. Are you paying attention, Raven? Husband, God damn it. Focus.
I'm trying. Huh?
Alright, well, keep trying. Maybe try harder. According to their sources.
Rude.
Look, I'm dying over here. According to the sources at the Harpers, a soulmonger is somewhere in Chult.
Chult.
Alright, Grok, yeah. Yep, I forgot you smash good, but you don't know exactly. Yeah, right. That was my specialty. Was navigating the group around our. Thank you, Grok, for voicing your ignorance. I'm sure the rest of these Philistines don't know what Chult is either. Chult is a peninsula ringed with mountains and choked with rainforests. Enormous reptiles, savage goblins, an army of undead prowls its jungles and ruins. Mapping the place has been a nightmare. It's been nigh impossible, and nothing is known about the region's current geography beyond a few miles of the coast. However, I have been able to get the best maps of the location, and I will provide that to you here.
And from under the blanket, she holds out a scroll to your parties. If one of you would like to take the scroll from her.
I'll take it.
Jelly beans taking. Oh.
Dexterity check. First roll of the session. Who's going to get the map?
I'd
All
say it
right,
would be
let's
best
roll,
if
baby.
a person took it that wasn't a melee fighter.
Oh, you say
Like
melee fighters
someone
can't
who
read
stays
maps?
in the back.
Whoa.
What do we roll?
Dexterity check.
Okay. That 20.
Oh no.
All right. Is
Jelly
anyone
bean?
going to
beat me.
You got a
Jelly
nat
Bean
20,
reached for it
bro?
and he got a 4. Jelly
Oh.
Bean got a 4. So,
But- So you kind of like
Grok
reach out to
trusts Birdman.
yeah, Grok, making a good call there. You watch Jellybean like the pseudopod misses, and as it goes wide, Rasbin, you swoop in and pluck the map from Syndra.
Working from dozens of siege charts, logbooks, and explorers' journals, I've assembled everything known about the current state of Chult on its one map, and I provide it to you if you undertake my mission.
Well, sounds like an interesting adventure.
Interesting, yes. The discoveries, just the ability to chart the location would be invaluable. However, husband, I do urge you to take the dangers of this particular environment seriously. Not even the skies will be safe. They are crowded with pterodactyls. Arokokra have been known to establish many settlements there. While I don't think they'll be particularly threatening to you, the petrofolk
I'm a
might
bird.
just be.
I'm a bird. I can persuade them easily.
I'm saying they might be able to chase you down in the air. You might be outnumbered as well. Anyway, please be careful and.
I wanted to underestimate my charm.
I never failed to take your charm into account, Resman. The rest of you, are you willing to undertake this mission? To make your way on an expedition into Chult and to seek out the necromantic artifact of the Soulmonger and destroy it?
Yes, I believe I am. If I get to travel amongst these fine fellows, be good for the Anthropologist Guild.
This is why I
Jelly
called you
Bean
here.
sends up a pseudopod. Jelly Bean sends up a pseudopod and it shapes into a thumbs up and he just goes, "Wee."
Knew I could count on you, Jellybean. You're rock solid. At Zerdos, there's always been a soft spot in my heart for you. I knew this would be a valuable asset for you and the anthropologists.
If Grok understands correct, breaking curse allow people come back good.
I am not sure if the individuals already perished from the Deathcurse will be able to be returned. I do know that not being able to allow the transition from life to death and the gods to work their miracles upsets the balance and our position in this world. We must end this death curse and return the order that has been.
Grok understand. If order need be, order shall.
How much
Well,
do we get paid for this quest?
Well, some of you, like Zerdos, will be paid in the knowledge that you bring back from this expedition. And on top of that, the treasures that I have are numerous in my adventuring and trade. As a merchant, I was quite successful, and I offer each one of you the selection of a rare or uncommon magical item that you can find within my collection.
Oh, sounds reasonable.
Good. Be right back, guys. Sorry.
I also expect that you'll be able to find some treasures in Chult that will make you rich as kings. As long as you keep your wits about you, you be careful.
What kind of treasure are you looking for?
I simply want the necromantic artifact the Soulmonger destroyed. If you do that, you will have successfully completed the mission and you will earn your rewards. The treasures within Cholt are so numerous, it's hard to list them. The fallen city that once dominated those lands, that has been rumored to have untold generations of wealth stored within its walls. The Yuanti as well have become weak and fallen from the great heights of their once powerful civilizations. And no doubt the benefits of that society are still lingering within those jungles. If you're able to make it through the hordes of undead and the powerful reptiles, you'll be able to bring back and return to civilization with those spoils.
What is the name of the city? Or? Of the doomed cities? Or?
The doomed city of the fallen aristocracy. The once powerful family that ran Cholt, but now is controlled by the merchant princes, is Omu. Omu was the capital, and now has sunken beneath it. I believe that is where you need to go to find the Soulmonger. Those are the most promising rumors that I have to give you. Find the city of Omu. Find the Soulmonger and destroy it. And bring back the riches of the fallen city.
Count on us. Or?
This whole time, while still paying attention, Zerados has been like any little quirk or oddity or different thing that anybody is doing, he's just writing down in a journal.
I'm
Just
pretty much
keeping
not.
on everybody in here because they're all new races to him.
Terrorist is basically nodding along to everything Syndra says.
So fascinated. You all see Zerados jotting notes down furiously. Is there any quirks? Is anyone doing anything weird?
Me, I'm looking at the map. The
So-
scroll.
You take the scroll and you see that the edges of this peninsula are well charted. You see that there are a few major geographical points that have been put into the map. You see that there are the Fire Mountains. The entire coast of this peninsula has been well charted, and you do see Port Nyanzaru up in the northern part of Cholt. That's where the most detail is. You see two rivers running into Port Nyanzaru. You see the river Shoshenstar and the river Tirikri. And up both of those rivers, you see a few X's. You see a skull and crossbones, multiple skull and crossbones around these two rivers. You see the mountain range of the mist cliffs that border the western parts of the peninsula, as well as a few labeled inlets. You see these bays like Kitcheler's Inlet and Refuge Bay. The Bay of Cholt is what extends out northward from the port Nyanzaru. And then the rest of the map is blank. You find inside of this scroll container, there is a quill and ink. It is put in there so you can continue to map the different areas that you come across. There is also a powerful and prominent mountain range, the Peaks of Flame.
Okay, do I see that in roll 20 or it is the entire map you're showing me?
Ba, 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 ba. I can't get to the map right now.
Can
I'm
you send
trying
it
to
me?
upload a map to the map, and if I can't upload it by the time we get into combat, I'll get out of it. But
Yeah, you can
the
send me
peaks
the map.
of The Peaks of Flame are on the southern part of the map of Chult.
Is it there where it's supposed to be? Like this? I'm going to change my color. There?
I am not on the map currently. I'm trying to upload a map to a different page. So I'm hacking a fraud, and I didn't prepare soon enough.
That's fine. You have time.
But yeah, in the very southern part of... Not in the southeast, but in the very southern part are the Peaks of Flames. In the southeast are the Sandrock Mountains. And then to the north of the Sandrock Mountains are the Sky Lizard Mountains. And this entire area, this peninsula of the Bay of Chult, this entire Chultan Peninsula is ringed with mountains, making this... It's like a bowl that contains this area.
Okay, and where are we exactly?
You all are in Baldur's Gate, and as you continue to look at the map, you start to think about, how are we gonna get there? At which point, Syndra...
When you're ready to depart, I will teleport us all to Port Nyanzaru. The only major settlement in Chult. I've been there several times before, so there's little chance of mishap. Once there, I'll stay with my friend named Wakanga Omtamu. He is one of the 7 merchant princes who rule the city.
Me no like aristocrat.
That's not usually my thing either. However, you should know that these aren't legitimate aristocrats. They are not born into their wealth. I believe it is more of an aesthetic they have taken on. They are very much capitalists, and they have secured their places of power within the city based on their wealth.
DM, you're lagging.
No, I'm sorry.
Not for me.
Yes, it's not me.
Okay, wait a minute.
We also seem to have lost Terrest.
Oh, goddamn internet's falling apart on us.
Apparently. Losing everybody.
Oh, no. Well, I guess we're not ready to teleport, which is lucky because I need to get some dice out. I need to get a D100.
This will be fun.
Oh, no.
No, I missed something.
Hello.
Hello?
My
Hello.
connection.
Everything freaked out, and I thought it was on my end, but did it
Yeah,
happen to other
no.
people too?
It happened to me too. Not
Oh,
gonna
wow.
lie.
It happened to 3 of us? My goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my connection went off, and I was like, okay, I'm going to change audio. I'm going to change Wi-Fi because I was like, what the fuck happened? I cannot hear anyone.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
crazy.
I got bits and pieces, and I disconnected and reconnected me.
It's a scalar
8
attack.
times.
The communist Chinese are trying to take down the internet. It's happening. They're making their move.
I didn't
Yeah,
have any problems.
Okay, so what happened?
You all continue to,
Start from the
Zerdos.
aristocrat part. That's all I got.
Yeah, me too.
Aesthetic was the last word I got.
yeah.
Me too.
Essentially, she lets you know, they're just cosplaying as royalty. They're capitalists. They're good, wholesome capitalists.
So disconnected there for
Yeah,
probably 2 minutes.
4 of
or
us?
something.
Oh my god.
yeah,
Trust
the
me.
four of us got disconnected for some reason.
Happens to
Ooh,
us
so
all.
so many
It's like
people
it's
at
Wookiee's
once.
fault.
Yeah,
It's Wookiee's fault.
it definitely seems like Wookiee's fault.
Hey, oh,
This
hey.
is something Wookiee would do.
I'm sorry.
Wookiee has a lag switch that he uses to play Overwatch and Apex.
He accidentally
And-
hit it.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get
Uses it
affected
when he
by
plays
it.
League of Legends and he mains Fiddlesticks.
Sure.
I
anyway.
see what's happening. I do cheat, but only on the women I date.
Oh,
You date
that-
women?
that's in bad taste, Wadawookie. Bad
Yeah.
taste.
I didn't know you had game.
Yeah, I thought you were Rizless.
No, I
No,
riz
he's
him up,
not
bro.
Rizless. He's negative Riz.
Oh my god, I'm
His
getting
Riz
fucking
is so negative it loops back around. It's like
Getting-
that Gandhi. It's like Gandhi in that one Civilization game, where he's so pacifist that he loops around to being a homicidal maniac.
Just got nuked by Gandhi
Nope.
again. Fuck me. God, I'm getting lit on fire here. Fuck. All right. Yeah. She's like, all right, god damn it. We're teleporting right now. Everyone get in the goddamn teleportation circle.
Ooh, we're teleporting. Can I say something to
Grok really not feel comfortable with teleport.
Don't think about it, Grok. Just get in the circle. It'll be fine.
Can
And
I
she
say something
whips.
to Syndra first?
Absolutely. As she's herding you all into the teleportation circle, she like rips up this very luxurious bearskin rug, and underneath it there's an intricately carved teleportation circle, and she's like shooing you all with the bearskin rug into it. What do you say?
I'm glad I can finally repay that favor from all those years ago.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you showed up. You're going to be instrumental to this next part of the journey. And I can't thank you enough for being here. Now get in the circle.
Of course.
As you all reluctantly get inside this circle, she dots a couple of I's, crosses some T's, and then you all see some of the writing on the edge of the circle begin to rotate, and then the inner circles begin to rotate counter to those. And one by one, they flare, and as she does a Naruto hand gesture, you all teleport.
No. Okay. Yeah.
Instant transmission into.
You use the Naruto teleportation.
Yeah. Now we're in Port Zaru.
Nyantaru. You all get spaghettified through space and time, and walking through the fold space, appear in a tropical city under the blazing heat.
My God, am I even the same Grok?
You're fine, Grok. Don't get metaphysical on me.
Jellybean
Hold it
is-
together.
Jelly
I knew
Bean
you
is in
betcha
fact
before I
laid
could
out
run some
completely
bash.
flat. He's made himself like he's lost all composure and he's just like goop on the ground as a joke.
Damn it, Jellybean, pull yourself together. All
He
right,
pulls himself
Fashion makes
together
me-
and retakes his spherical form.
all right.
For just a
Jellybean
moment,
was vigorously
a
writing this down.
for just a moment there, I wasn't the shortest.
All right. God damn it. You all are killing me faster than the Deathcurse. All right, let's go this way.
And as you all begin to walk along this jungle area, you are on a road. And right before you, you see that you have teleported a couple of 100 feet away from a wonderful tropical city. And it is under the blazing sun. These huge, thundering cumulus clouds like rise up into the air. They billow and breeze just slowly across the sky. And underneath them, these huge shadows cast across this amazing city that you all walk towards. You hear the familiar sounds of a harbor, creaking ropes, slapping waves, heavy barrels rolling across the cobblestone, mingling with voices shouting and cursing in an unfamiliar language filled with clicks, inhalations, and sing-songy words that make it sound almost musical. The aroma of this unfamiliar space, the spices and tropical fruit mixes with the wharf-side smells of fish tar and canvas as you all approach this outer parts of the city. Beyond all that, Port Nyanzaru is an explosion of color. Buildings are painted in bright shades of blue, green, azure, copper, orange, salmon pink, or the walls are adorned with murals portraying giant reptiles or mythical heroes. Every building supports baskets or clay urns of colorful flowers or is draped in leafy, flowery vines. Minstrels in brightly colored clothing, adorned with feathers and shells, perform on the street corners. Multicolored pennants and sun awnings flutter across the walls of the city. A crowd of children dressed in feathered hats and capes raced past you, squealing in delight. Delight and terror as a street performer costumed as a big-toothed lizard stomps behind them, roaring behind them. The whole city seems to be bustling, sweating, laughing, swearing, and singing as you approach.
There is so much to take in.
It can be a
Many
little
smiling
overwhelming.
faces.
Quite impressive.
Yes, this is the economic powerhouse of Chort. It's one of the richest cities in all of the world, and I always appreciate my time here. Yeah, it's absolutely sweltering, though. The heat is quite abominable.
Grok not used to the heat. Usually in solitary, cold environment, like vegetable.
You'll be fine, Grok. Just take off a couple layers.
Well, it's certainly not as hot as the hills.
Jellybean's gonna look at what's their name, Silva or
Syndra.
who's Syndra? He's gonna look at Syndra and he's gonna look back at Grok like doesn't wear a shirt, but layers.
I think they meant layers of skin.
Orcs
It's
have
not a way to
layers.
flirt. This is a very bad way to flirt if you're trying to get his pants off, but that's besides the point. We have a job. Stay
Damn it,
focused.
Jellybean. We don't have time for this.
And as she starts
You're the one
walking,
flirting. Anyway,
It's quite unprofessional.
Grok not comfortable with people talking about him.
No, Zerados, it won't be as hot as the Nine Hells, but do be careful. Heat exhaustion will be a constant danger while you're in this environment. It's the humidity.
I am most curious to see how my compatriots will handle the heat.
You'll probably
The
have a
humidity. Right?
Jellybean's like 99% water. He's fine.
Starts boiling. It just bubbles.
Jellybean, are you okay?
Never better. Why?
Dragging himself around.
Okay. Where's my phone? So
Terrace
as you all,
already have emptied his water flask. Like water skin.
yeah. So yeah, all of you are gonna need to hydrate, stay hydrated, and all of you are going to be expected to roll Constitution checks every so often while you're here to gauge whether or not you are exhausted by the heat. Not
Okay.
necessary so far. However, as you walk towards the city, you immediately can tell what she meant about the humidity. You are sweating through your armor. You have, it looks like you got out of a pool. And each one of you notice that your usual mechanisms of cooling by evaporation of sweat, well, you're not evaporating the water that you're sweating out. It is just running off of you.
I might
Grok
have to change clothes
slow.
often.
Grok very slick.
Jellybean looks at you all as he cannot sweat. Like, what the fuck's wrong with y'all? What's going on?
Zerdos is
Melting?
wearing like the Indiana Jones outfit, but with the like camp captain like shorts.
You gotta
Oh,
see like
no way.
these
Scoutmaster shorts.
Scoutmaster shorts.
The fucking shorts. Those fucking.
But like the Indiana Jones like shirt but no
Oh,
hat.
that's funny.
you're just gonna see like the crows trying like
Oh, hot hair.
Are you all right?
Oh, just need to enjoy it myself.
as he pulls out the water skin and like swallows just like a quarter of the of the water, I guess.
As you all try and declothe, take off layers, hydrate, you walk into the outer parts of the city, and this is the rougher part of town. This is, you see like a lot of merchants carrying these carts, coming through these massive gates or coming up towards them. And there are all these like pop tents and different like stalls where different merchants have their goods put out, a lot of different kinds of fish, clams, and textiles. And just from a cursory glance, you can tell that one of the main things that these folks deal in is the creation of textiles and then dyeing them with the many colors that come from the jungle. Like these yellows and cyans and aquamarines that are just so bright and vibrant. And you've never seen anything so colorful all in one place. This is clearly one of the main exports coming out of this city.
Just remember the spell I have. So every once in a while, I'm gonna be like almost constantly kind of moving my hands and casting prestidigitation to clean sweat off of people.
Station as well as is gonna help and says,
You know that spell, boy. Maybe you
Prestidigitation can also cool things, right?
Yes, I can chill your like shirts and stuff.
yeah, it's gonna remove all the sweats that is on him and like especially Grog, what he's sweating the most as he smell
Between the two of
Even
us,
like
we'll
the smell
keep
of
people-
Grog as he removed the sweat of Grog.
Oh,
A little bit.
thanks, little raven man.
pleasure.
Grok, it's like a cool breeze cooling you down for a moment, and then the heat, it just comes washing back. It's so hot. It's oppressive. And compared to the drizzle and chill in Baldur's Gate, the Mediterranean climate, the heat and the humidity of this climate is so oppressive. You're instinctually shedding layers, and then you're like already down to your shirt, and you're like, I don't have any more layers to shed. Until, yeah, most of you've doffed most of your armor and gear into bags and backpacks that the rest of you, that it's just like on the ground as you're not moving, and then you pick it back up as you begin to move again through the crowd. The air tastes wet. Even when the monsoon rains that have clearly swept through here and wetted everything, even when it's not a downpour, you can see that just everything has this continual layer of misty wetness. And even as like you watch your surroundings, you see that layer of wet water begin to evaporate into just a thin layer of fog that rests just above the ground for a half-beating second before evaporating. As you
My God.
marvel,
How do people live here?
the sheer steaming masses around you, you see these huge reptiles. And the size of the reptiles begins to make sense as they're cold-blooded, but in this humid and hot environment, their size just immediately begins to make sense to you. These just huge green triceratops, yellow-feathered Parasaurolophus, and white enameled Diplodocus haul these huge carts stacked high with brightly colored textiles of wildly vivid patterns. Enormously heavy and reinforced wagons, they're all around you. On these wagons, they're loaded on these stout hardwood, Some of them are carrying ingots of dwarven metal and crates of jewels. They just make like a jingling, bustling noises as they crunch over the gravelly ground to and through the gates on their way to and from the various hilltop marketplaces that stand proud up above the jungle. Do you continue trying to go to the big old gate over there?
So, are we by any like merchant stalls that might be selling like the umbrellas?
Absolutely. You see this merchant stall. It's a pretty like small one. This is like really just one underneath this rather large umbrella, and you see this various assortment of parasols. Some of them are lace, other ones have these like bright yellow, almost like chamomile swirling patterns.
I'm gonna walk over there. Who is running the stall?
There is a wrinkly old lady in there that could be like 200 years old, you'd say. Like the wrinkles on wrinkles and like folds within folds.
Yeah, my God, this place dehydrated her.
Excuse me, miss. I would like to purchase one of your fine umbrellas. Do you happen to have one for lavender, like to match my eyes?
Ah, wonderful. Of course I do, dearie. Right, here's what you're looking for.
And she like turns around on this swivel stool and then's going through this barrel behind her, and she pulls out this extremely bright colored maroon lavender, and the pattern here is like checkered, but the checkers are different kinds of fabrics woven in on each other. The textile pattern is what gives it a actual tangible physical textile checkered pattern, and it is very bright.
This, from the lootberry fruit, we are able to find this. Yes, this will accentuate your eyes so lovely, really bring out the loveliness.
It is quite nice. How much for this wonderful piece of work?
Well, it's usually sell for 1 gold, but for you, since it's such a perfect fit, how's 5 silver sound?
That sounds quite lovely.
Here you are, darling. And please recommend Granny Goodness's parasols to anyone that you come across.
Granny
I
goodness.
will do just that.
Wonderful.
Hand over the gold to be broken down.
And she hands you
While
back
I,
5
at
silver.
the same time, cast Mage Hand to grab the parasol and hold it over my head.
Oh my god.
That's
wow.
adorable.
That's a masterful trick. Oh, goodness gracious. You have a wonderful day.
You too.
Man, I love this Granny.
And as you turn around, you didn't see it before, Zerados, but now that the crowd is kind of parted and gives you more of an angle through back towards the wall of the city, there's this giant pit amongst the hustle and bustle. It seems, well, there seems to be some kind of traffic jam near the pit, and it's about 50 yards long and maybe 10, 15 yards wide.
Jump in the pit.
Just a hole?
A big old hole, but it's longer than it is wide. It runs down the entire street on the way towards the wall and the gate.
Does it look like it was like a sinkhole that just appeared, or does it look specifically made?
Too uniform to be a sinkhole. No, this looks square. It is quite geometrical. It's rectangular in its shape, so it is clearly something that's been constructed. And as you get a little bit closer, as you continue with the group towards the city gates, you see that the edges have been carved into stone that's set into the dirt.
What's in the pit?
Well, as you get closer, you see that this traffic jam, it's being caused by a young boy. He's no older than 16, and he's collapsed between the poles of a rickshaw, and he is sweating through his brightly plaid clothing some 5 feet from the pit, and people are having to well, get out of the way, Ahmad. Yeah, going around him and then pull in these different carts and hear different insults that you don't quite understand because they're in another language, but they are not flattering, you assume. And he has just fall into the ground. You can tell he's clearly delirious. As you're all about to walk by him,
I'm casting Healing Word.
You cast Healing Word.
I cast Healing Word.
Healing turd.
As you're about to cast Healing Word, from the rickshaw, this mean, fat old man gets off the overloaded cart and pulling a bamboo cane he rings it in his hands as he approaches the kid, yelling at him as the kerfuffle of traffic continues to grow around you. The child is confused and tries to get to his feet, and he just starts to lay into him and viciously, savagely whip the cane into the boy's head, smashing his face. Shock. He tries to cover himself, and with his arms, he puts him up to defend himself as the reed just descends into his head over and over again. The splits, and then it begins to rip apart the boy's skin. And as the filleted fat and tissue from his body whips over and around on the ground, he's pooling of blood around him. Lazy, useless pile of pterodactyl shit. You serve better as lunch in the run. Please,
Jelly Bean will intervene.
Please,
Yeah, likewise.
stop.
Jelly
I'm
Bean
sorry,
is
I was trying.
intervening.
I'm gonna have
There's
Mage
no-
Hand fencing block the cane
So, yeah, Mage
with
Hand
the
grabs
parasol.
the cane as it's raised over the old's head. He looks around and sees you all coming. You cast Healing Word. Go ahead and roll that healing, not damage, but yeah, we'll go ahead and roll a dice to see how much you heal.
Grok
Real quick,
not
what
above
was the name
striking
of the
rate.
granny?
Granny Goodness.
Jelly Bean.
Granny what?
Goodness.
Granny goodness.
Goodness. Okay.
That's 7. 7 points.
Damn,
7 points.
Jelly Bean's gonna rush forward and put himself between the guy and the kid.
All right. So he sees Jellybean, you coming over, the Mage Hand stopping the cane, and then this sudden. Describe to me how you heal, actually. How does your radiant energy look as it recovers this young man?
Okay, I lay a hand on the healing symbol on my belt, and I speak the few words of the incantation. And then it's almost like the wounds on this boy's skin
I don't like that.
turn to stone and crumble off.
The
to dust on the
blood.
ground, and they're gone.
Running from this young man's face suddenly crystallizes, and like chunks of rock begin to float as dust into the wind. Those once savage wounds that he experienced are no longer there, and you see him recover as he stands up. Yeah. If you like the kid so much, why don't you pull him through the run? And Jellybean, just as you're about to step in between the old man and the kid, he savagely kicks him, like Leonidas, into the pit.
Oh.
If you'd like to, go ahead and make a dexterity check as you try and push yourself in between him and the kid. The kid is going to make a dexterity check to try and get out of the way.
Is there any can I make an acrobatics to try it? Because Jellybean's fast.
Acrobatics,
He's
absolutely.
got a 40-foot movement. Awesome.
Can I make if he doesn't if he doesn't catch it, can Raven cast levitate on the boy?
A 13.
Roll the 14. You get there just too late as the kick pounds the kid in the chest and he goes windmilling back into the pit, and you guys begin to hear something from within the pit.
What is it?
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Hmm.
I think Grok would probably try to pick up this man. You know, just kind of really.
Oh, wait,
grab,
would this
grab
count
on-
as? Wait, hold on. Would this count as initiating a grapple to catch him?
Not quite.
to
You're there
catch the kid?
just a little bit too late.
Like, if I were to get there, would that count as? If I had passed, would it count as grappling? Because I have advantage on that. Because that's Moid.
Well, I think
Oh.
you just got there a little too late.
Just got there a
okay, yeah,
little bit
okay.
too late, and as you look over the side, you see these velociraptors begin to close in on the kid.
Why would they have a velociraptor pit in the city?
Okay. Can I cast levitate on the guy that is falling?
I don't know. Okay. Absolutely, you can cast levitate on this kid. He is just about. So he falls into the pit, and you see these velociraptors coming from the other side of the pit, calling each other, slowly making their way like a bunch of tigers, lions closing in on their prey. As the kid like scrambles back up to his feet, you cast levitate on him.
Okay, he rises up 20 feet in the air,
Oh,
and
simple.
every second I'm going to pull closer to the group.
Ah, great. Well, problem solved.
15,
But yeah,
15 feet. How soon? How fast is that 15 feet?
Wait, what?
what
How
do you mean?
fast is that 15 feet? Is that 15 feet every 6 seconds, every round, or?
It is
How far down is he? How deep is the pit?
40 feet.
Damn.
I'm 60. It goes to up to 60 feet.
60 feet every 6 seconds, every round?
Now, you can see within range,
Levitate.
rate,
What level's
range
levitate?
rises
I'm gonna
very
look the spell up.
feet and remains suspended there for the duration. The spell can levitate a target that weighs over 500 pounds. An unwilling creature, assuming that will be willing because he's falling. The target can move only by pushing or pulling against the fix, which allow you to
Does its
climb.
move as if it were climbing?
Yeah, I
You
can
could push
change.
off the ground and go up like 20
Yeah,
feet.
yeah, I can change the direction, like up, down, left or right. So it raises up every round 20
Target
feet.
can move up or down as part of, or
So every 6 seconds.
So you cast
So
I don't
levitate.
think
less than a minute,
velociraptors
it will
can
rise
jump up 20 feet.
up to the pit and goes to the group safely. And oh, it's happening.
It's happening
Shall we do
again.
some-
Oh god. So, yeah, you cast levitate just as these velociraptors have circled in around this kid. You cast levitate and he pushes off the ground and he rises 20 feet into the air just as these raptors try and pounce in on him. And they miss. Kid rolled a good yeah, you see him like raise his feet just as these velociraptors try and nip his toes. They didn't roll too high on their athletics check, but yeah, he starts like Spider-Maning up the side of the pit, and eventually, like his head crests over the side, and he comes back out to the top, and he's looking around. Oh Christ! Oh my God! I almost got eaten alive down there. Oh Jesus! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
holy shit.
What is the purpose of this pit?
Wookie, turn your lag switch off. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, seriously, that was crazy.
Yeah,
I could not
sake.
reconnect.
So what
Well,
happened with the guy? Does it comes to us?
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, he got out.
Yeah,
Okay.
Grog, he's gonna grab this old man, really grapple onto him.
I'm going to spread that out. So it is one use of my um, of the charge of my magic icons. So there's that.
So, what do I roll for that? Do you think I
Probably contested grapple or athletics.
athletics?
The athletics or acrobatics or whatever.
All right.
It's athletics to grab somebody, and then the opposing gets athletics or acrobatics.
Got
He
it.
rolled a 4. He did not roll good on his athletics check.
I got 24.
Yeah, so you grab him by his collar, and he's like, "Oh God, I am being held right now."
All right. Grok dangles him over the pit.
Oh, yeah, hold on. This is unnecessary. Hold on. This is really turned back on me here. Look, I could give you money. Please don't throw me into the pit. It is not my time. I am a fat man. I cannot make the executioners run.
Grok,
Jelly bean.
you are mean. Mean people deserve to be exterminated. And Grok kind of loosens his grip, just
Whoa.
dangling him ever so slightly.
Whoa. Please, so what do you want? You want money? You want women? I can get you anything you need here.
Grok looks at his group, kind of gauging whether he should do it, you know? I mean, he wants to know if this is okay to drop this old man into this pit.
No.
Jelly bean, but Jelly bean's eyes convey no emotion as he just stares at them.
Do
He
not
just
Grok,
goes,
drop him, Grok. It is not worth it. Perhaps he will learn his lesson.
Grok reluctantly retrieves him from the pit and places him on the ground.
Thank you. Thank you for sparing me. I am so sorry. I'll never treat any of my employees like that ever again.
We're
Jelly
taking
bean,
you
Jelly bean
to the
jiggles with
proper
rage
authority.
at the fact that he's not thrown in the pit.
We're taking you to the proper authorities.
Just about this time, there are some very colorful shields. They are stretched dinosaur hides that you come and you see them making their way through the crowd. There's a little bit of a ring that's formed around you at this point, and as they push their way through, you see these powerful, strong warriors, each one carrying these long pieces of wood tipped with these obsidian axe tips, and just these wildly colorful and lightweight but clearly strong shields, and they make their way up to you. This is what's going on here. Explain yourselves.
This man was mistreating his worker and threw him in the pit. We retrieved the kid and
he
believe he
carried
has
dead.
Raven is gonna recreate what he said to the kid. And imitate the voice.
repeating.
This is not the first time that we've got you mistreating employees, man. You're becoming with us. You're under arrest. And there's two, like underneath the captain, these two soldiers come on either side of the person you were interrogating that you're about to throw in the pit, lift him up to his feet, and start taking him away. Thank you, strangers. Appreciate your intervention here.
Not a problem. Now, Grok, if we could please move this cart so the traffic can proceed.
I can do it. I have 18 strength.
All right, between you and
I don't
the
know that. And just looking at Grok Big BP is like, you could probably do it.
Yeah. But I mean, Terrace also looks pretty strong.
I am not. I am a twig.
Like
Yeah, but-
a little chunk of muscle.
Jelly
Between
looks
all
like
the-
an ooze. He has no he has no muscles whatsoever.
Yeah, between the group, the rest of you, you all successfully move the cart out of the way. Traffic begins to flow as normal, and just as you deposit this cart on the side, the young man, he is just brimming. He's overjoyed, and he is so grateful. He is thanking you. He's like, "Oh, thank you so much. You saved my life, and I will never repay you. Please, make your way to my establishment. I'll be able to give you drinks. I'll be able to give you food, housing, anything that you need." And as soon as he's like offering,
Which will
like
not
telling
be
you where to go,
necessary.
Oh.
I'm really doing a good deed. Here, I'm going to give him the other 5 silver from the gold I broke down.
oh, don't know how I got so lucky. Thank you so much. And he's like taking the money, bowing over and over again as he begins to walk back into the crowd. You just made his day. And from the opposite direction that he's going, he's heading over towards the gates of the city. You hear, "Oh God, yeah, I mean it! They're eating me!" And this call, like, alarm begins to sound as the rest of the crowd begins to run. There is a stampede in your direction, and there are bodies being tossed up in the air, and they are flying in every direction as each one of you sees something making its way from the jungle into these outskirts of town. Oh God! Oh God, it hurts! Oh, my leg!
Suffer.
Where
I'm
is she?
suffering so much! Oh, the agony! Oh, help me! Please, strong adventurers, help! Oh, I need the aid of some strapping hardcore.
Terrace is already gone. He's gone straight for the noise.
Zerdos is going to start making his way, but he's also keeping an eye out for where Syndra went.
Syndra is kind of just hanging back, watching with amusement as you guys have intervened, and continues to hold down the spot that she's taken. She's watching with the body language. She's got like her hands, she's got her arms crossed, but the hips are like extended, so she's not annoyed, but bemused.
Hmm.
So if you would be so
she
kind.
looks safe, so.
No, she's solid. And yeah, as you guys come and you begin making your way towards this kerfluffle, you see spilling in from the forests that surround these jungle vines that surround the city, a huge white-haired ape stomps in and is beginning to tearing the limbs and defenestrating people as he throws them through the stalls and the buildings here. This massive four-armed great ape just begins to rip through the city, and in his wake are these 2 pale-skinned dwarves that are coated in these vines with yellow flowers that put off a horrible musk. You can smell just the rotting, sweet smell of death. If you'd be so kind to put yourselves on the map, please.
Okay.
Which side?
Oh, yeah.
Put yourselves on the left side. I couldn't find a pit that was rectangular like it's supposed to be, but
That's fine.
How do I do that, actually?
You can just drag it from the character journal onto.
We don't have our armor on, right?
You guys needing armor.
Yeah, what losers.
Our bard needs it, okay?
I probably should wear armor, but
But he says that we doff off our armor to get there.
yeah, because it's super hot.
I think that was just Wookiee's flavor text.
Yeah,
Okay,
flavor text. You
alright.
can put the armor on really fast if you want to.
I will.
Oh my
Well,
god.
See,
Oh my god, I'm having so much trouble right now.
So are the flowers like growing out of the dwarves, or
Wait, what is this?
That map just finished uploading.
So why is it on top of Jellybean? Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Wait,
I'm
no,
sorry.
he's crushed. No. He has no bones to break.
I'm gonna go ahead and put that on that layer. Oh god. I'm sorry, I'm having technical difficulties so bad right now.
Oh my god, it worked. I figured it out.
Okay.
It was the
okay,
mountain.
We're good. Okay.
terraced?
Was that Dwayne the Mountain Johnson?
He's actually quite
What?
short.
Is that really?
It is a mountain, yeah.
Who is the mountain?
That's me. Terraced stone stacker.
Okay, terraced. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh god.
He's a mountain dwarf. Worships a
Yeah.
mountain god.
I'm back, guys. Sorry, I was gone.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I was gone. I was like, darn, I'm missing important stuff.
No, just being a scrub and trying to get the combat ready. So welcome back. Good timing.
What?
All right.
So are the flowers
thing you missed
actually
was
growing out
homicide.
of them?
What was that question, Zerdos?
Is the flowers growing out of the dwarves, or is it just kind of on attached?
Are they wearing vines, or are they having vines sprout from them?
So you try and look. Actually, give me a perception check because you see these vines wrapped around, and they seem to be coming from within the dwarves.
14.
8.
Zerdos, it doesn't look like these vines are healthy, and they're probably up to no good. What you see, Resvin, is that these vines have grown from within the skulls and the bodies of these dwarves, and you can see that they are protruding from the brains, or what used to be the brain cavity and now has been a hollowed out shell. And now the vines have infiltrated the nervous system of the body after destroying the minds of these dwarves, and are now controlling them. And these yellow flowers that emerge from these skulls are looking around and controlling. They are like the new heads, and they are looking around, perceiving the environment, and directing the bodies of these dwarves on towards you.
Can I roll insight to see if these are intelligent?
You can tell offhand that there is a purpose. These are so much as they're alive, they have a function and a purpose that they're completing. They may not be intelligent in the same way that you and I experience consciousness, but they are very set on their goals and completing. Yeah, so this here gorilla zombie is gonna go, and he's gonna run up to you, Terrast.
We're not rolling initiative.
Oh, yeah, you're right, actually. Let's roll initiative.
Oh, I saved you for an attack.
Just wanted to run up and smack you with the gorilla.
All right, 17. Let's
Better
go.
roll good then.
I forgot.
4.
Like the
Roll
character.
a 2.
Oh, baby, let's go!
Ooh. Let's
That's what I've
go.
been waiting for.
Yeah, this is what we're waiting for.
It's always great when you technically roll 14, but you have a -2.
You have a -2.
Well, I
Yeah.
rolled a 5 and I have a -1.
I have a -2. Dex and strength.
Jellybean, you're up first.
We're 4 people? Or we
Should
not?
have one more.
Hold on. I'm checking something real quick. All right.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Where's
5.
Brock?
Yeah, where's
Missing-
Grok says that
Are we
he
missing
was-
somebody?
Yeah, we're missing Grok.
Grok.
Yeah.
Brock?
Grok is
Boofin?
mute.
Grog's moving.
Brock moving.
Okay, you're
that's
far
what I
away from the mic.
I know, I'm writing down the initiative.
Okay.
Alrighty, well, I guess Jellybean goes ahead.
Jellybean, you go ahead. You're now 20. Yeah, that's gonna go, man.
Jellybean starts moving towards the big ape guy, and he takes on a humanoid form, arms and legs, and Wookie. I'm gonna need a dex saving throw. The big ape.
Oh my god, you're far away.
That's a 6.
Yeah. So he's gonna take.
Oh, we have to roll initiative. Whoops. There we go.
Okay. Take 7 force damage as Jellybean's arms, like his little noodle arms, explode and shape into giant fucking muscular arms that rival Grok's.
Ugh. Already got the damage.
Because 7 force damage, yeah.
Astral self, man. Let's
Jeez.
I need to check.
Get that
I
extended
spent 1
range.
key point, which gives. Yeah, I have extended range. So really, I could have just sat out of range of them and did that, but.
Yeah.
Oh. And since I spent a key point and you let me use key fueled attacks, I get an extra attack.
Extra attack.
My action, so. Oh. 14 and an 18 to hit.
Both hit.
It'll be 18 force damage total.
Oh my god. Get spanked out of the gate. How'd this happen?
And that's the end of Jellybean's turn.
That's gonna bring us
Oh,
to
by the way,
Resvin.
Jellybean is now roughly 6 feet tall with giant muscular arms. He's still jelly, though.
Fantastic.
Muscular jelly.
Resvin, you're up.
Alright. Jellybean, you're gonna get a bardic inspiration as Crows sing a song that probably will it's not his original voice, it's go get inspired in your filthy magic gaze. And you get a bardic inspiration.
Bardic Inspiration again, like a 1d something? 1d6.
1d6.
And I can add it to any roll?
Yup.
No.
Don't. It's not any roll. It's your valor.
It's not any roll? Just what?
No, ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. So
Good to know. Good to know.
alright, and as a Nightshade, he will cast Dissonant Whisper on this thing. He has to make a wisdom saving throw.
15.
High success, but you will take half damage from that. So you will take 6 psychic damage.
Got the damage.
Shit, didn't get away. It's gonna stay far away. It's gonna be like. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's make it here. There you go. And that's the end of his turn.
And it's going to bring us to Zerdos.
Okay. I'm also going to be staying far away. But it looks like Jelly's got the big one handled, so I'm going to here, and I'm going to cast Chaos Bolt on this. On the farther dwarf thing. Never mind, that's a natural one.
Oh no! Goes a little wide. Big target, but still, sometimes. Yeah, it's magic. Magic's tough.
Rock, what is your initiative?
It's 5.
Oh, damn.
No.
Still going before me.
Oh no. These zombies only have a speed of 20 feet.
However, because I cast that, there is now a arcane rune on my forehead that is glowing.
Ooh, mysterious arcane rune. What does it do?
You'll find out.
Devil man have magic on forehead.
That zombie can't quite make it there. So one zombie will get there. He will try and slam the jelly man. 18. Does an 18 hit you, Jelly Bean?
Yes, it does.
I need a D8.
Eight for damage.
D8 for damage, and I am...
Roll it for you.
I want to roll it. I want to roll it.
Okay. You go ahead, roll it.
I can get a T8. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, so, this monster dwarf that you can tell has clearly had its body snatched from it by this vines. You see these yellow flowers emit a disgusting sweet rot as it punches you. Oh, nope. Almost rolled it off the table. 4 plus 1. It's going to be 5 points of bludgeoning damage. It's going to be the end of the zombies' turns. Grok, your move.
Grok roars in a primal rage and goes into a feral state, raging as any good barbarian would. And
Oh, yeah.
with his rage, he dives first into combat. He goes boom, boom, bam, bam, and slams his maul into this ugly-looking zombie.
I wasn't always ugly. Ugh.
Alright, so we're going to make an attack.
Why don't you flank him?
Yeah, you should flank him. Get advantage.
Fine, just because.
Fine, I'll flank him.
Alright, Brock flanking this ugly zombie that's always been ugly is going to
My
attack.
wife would braid my beard, and we would experience such moments of intimacy. Oh,
Whoops,
haven't you ever had
Just
a wife before, Grok? Don't hurt me.
Oh! My
Emotional
lord.
damage. Take 20 points of emotional damage. Break down crying.
My wife!
My wife.
And he tries to attack. Does a 12 hit?
12 hits.
Yeah.
AC of 9.
And he smashes his giant maul into the zombie's creature, doing 13 damage.
I've got the damage.
Is that including rage damage?
Is that including rage damage? Come on, what do you think I am, an amateur? I honestly don't know if that's including rage damage.
Yes, it is. So
Heck that.
15.
Mm.
Yeah, it's 6 plus 3 plus 4. Nope, that's not including rage damage, so that's 15 damage.
15 damage. I've got the extra 2 damage.
Got it. And that will end Grok's turn.
It's going to bring us to Tarast.
Hmm. I'm holding my maul with one hand, which of course isn't enough to wield it. I'm doing it to cast magic weapon, 2nd level spell. As I speak the incantation, I say, "By my heart of stone, may my enemies be brought low." My maul is now a +1 maul for, I think, 1 minute.
Damn.
Very useful at early levels.
So I'm gonna go here. And I'm gonna hit that dwarf. That is... and that one.
Well, that goes a little wide.
Oh yeah, as I have cast the spell, my maul is kind of crusted over with chunks of stone, so it's a lot heavier now.
It's a little difficult to gauge where the zombie's flesh is, and some of the vines have wrapped themselves around the zombie, and you cleave through those vines, but you don't actually do any damage to the zombie. Is that your turn?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to bring us to the Gorillian's
It's been a
turn.
while since I've cast this one.
Gorillion.
What are the rules about moving through people? I'm gonna move
They
there.
have to make a contested strength check.
Let's make contested strength checks. That's going to be contested strength checks on the part of Jellybean and Tarast against the Gorillian zombie. Ooh, he rolled an 18. That's going to be a 19 for me.
Just strength.
Just strength.
Just strength.
Strength.
Strength, yep.
Athletics or athletics usually.
Oh, athletics, yes. Athletics or acrobatics. Yeah, why not?
Right, if I can roll athletics, then I'll do that.
This Gorillian tries to push his way through and muscle so he
25.
can get
Have to
flanking.
roll because all strength rolls are done with wisdom whenever I'm an astral arms force. So that's. Let's see.
You still don't pass it 25.
Yeah, Tarast will keep him from moving.
Damn, I fucking rolled a nat 1. It's fucked up.
He just pushes
Anyway,
right on
he's gotta
through
beat
you
a
guys.
25.
What?
Beat a
the-
25?
The big thing sort of runs against Tarask and bounces off. As
Oh,
Tarask is
damn it.
still firmly rooted in the ground.
It's part of the earth.
Because a
Arr.
mountain.
Yeah,
Nope.
fuck it out. How are you gonna get
Boing.
past that?
Bounces off him, and then he looks at you and is like, "Oh, move, rock!" And he is going to smack you. And he rolled a 2. That's not good. 2 is very bad. Wow, he makes 5 attacks.
Yep.
Guess 1 with each of his claws. That makes sense. All right, so first one misses. Does, yeah, so he reaches in and tries to bite the rock, but the rock is hard. So a few of his teeth break and they come out, but then he just starts smacking you with his claws. Does a 24 hit you, Tarast?
Yes.
Does 10 hit you?
No.
12?
No.
18.
Yep.
Okay. So that's 2 hits.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be 12 damage to you as 2 of these slamming fists come into you and try again. Break rock. Break rock
I'm down
smash.
to 15 HP.
Damn.
Then that's going to be the end of the Gorillian's turn. Bringing us back into the top of the initiative. Jellybean!
Alrighty, here we go. Jellybean is going to go here. He's going to go around behind the big guy, and I'll take the attack of opportunity from this man.
$17 plus 3 does a 20 hit.
Hits, yeah.
That's going to be 6 points of damage.
Alrighty. Who? Now, have advantage against the big ape man. So Jellybean is going to spend key point to do flurry of blows. It's in 3 attacks. $18.
Not
Oh,
toy.
I guess if it's advantage, that's a nat 20.
Nice,
One.
not 20.
Oh my god. So that's
And that's to it.
be a 21. That's the
21.
second attack.
21.
This is the third attack. That's
One more.
shit.
One more.
Wow.
2 nat 20. Wow.
Oh my god.
And, a 9 plus a 4 plus a 6 plus a... Wait, how are we doing critical damage? Is it just double the... Is it...
I roll the dice and then double
if-
that dice damage, and then you add the plus bonus.
It says it here on roll 20. There's force damage and force critical damage.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's not how we'll keep
Right.
doing it.
Yeah, so that's 9 times 2.
17.
I rolled a 4.
Wait, no. 27.
27
27
damage.
force
27
damage.
force damage.
Oh, haha. So you just start wailing on this motherfucker, and you just perfectly see the points where his rotted flesh is about to pull apart, and you just start dismantling him.
Every
Rip.
strike, with every strike, he goes, wait.
And you just punch him perfectly in each one of his joints, and all 4 of his arms fall off. He's still up, but he doesn't have any arms anymore.
And,
Oh.
that's it for Jellybean's turn.
Or has
Doesn't
been.
have. It doesn't have arms anymore. Okay.
You just saw Jellybean rip off all of this guy's arms, and he's kind of doing the thing where he's backpedaling, and he's trying to swing his arms around, but he doesn't have any arms, so he's just continually falling. Can't
Okay.
catch his balance.
All right. Yeah, let's put him out of his misery. He's gonna cast this in the mystery again on the gorilla.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom save.
I think he has a -3 to wisdom. -2 to wisdom. That's going to be an 11.
Alright. It's gonna take the full damage. Give me a sec.
He had 1 hit point left.
Okay. Uh, just on. Well, yeah, cast at the first level, but it's gonna take like, I guess, 6 psychic damage, and you're gonna see like, he's gonna whisper into his ears like, and literally like head is going to explode.
Scanner style is that just pops like a balloon.
Yeah, it does a white noise into his head, and you see like his head shaking a bit and explode his head.
Yeah, you also just see a torso fall over to the ground. And the gorillon is dead.
All right. Who wants the bardic inspiration?
I can take it if you want.
All right, you get a bardic inspiration as a bonus action. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a d6 to any roll. There you go. And that's going to be his turn. He's gonna stay here.
And it's going to be Zerdos's turn.
Can you put on X on this guy?
I am going to. And try Chaos Bolt again. The southernmost dwarf Vietnamese. Alright.
Chaos Bolt.
17.
17 hits.
It's gonna be 10 damage.
I've got the damage.
Type of damage.
Lightning damage.
Lightning
Yep.
damage? Oh my god.
As the bolt starts to fire, it kind of is this myriad colors, like almost like a prismatic beam before it splits off into just blue and slams into him.
Oh, God.
And
Yeah.
a rune on the back of my right hand lights up.
So cool. Yeah, okay. I got the damage on the Yellow Musk zombie. It's like watching him get tased. He goes rigid for a moment before continuing to hobble over towards Terrast. Is that it for your turn, Zerdos?
Yes, it is.
All right. He'll just continue to hobble forward. Nom, 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 nom. And give Terrast another snackety snack. That's going to be a 21 to hit you, Terrast.
Hits.
That's going to be... max damage. 9 points of damage on you, sir. Bludgeoning.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be...
Down to
the
6.
zombie's turn. This zombie is going to go ahead and take a step away from you. Grok. If you'd like to make an opportunity attack Grok, you may do so.
Fantastic. And I do. I will. Sounds like a perfect opportunity.
You mean
Jellybean would also get an opportunity attack. He has a range of 10 feet with his astral arms.
I just want to move to Terrast.
So that's 9 damage. It's gonna be 9.
Oh yes, You're right.
9 damage.
Astral arms are so good.
Wookie, did you hear me?
I did hear you. Would he have to move? Oh,
He left the range.
he
This
left
one.
the range of. He left the range
not
of
the range
Grok,
of
but not
Jellybean.
Jellybean.
Yeah.
Guy right here.
Yeah, he has the 10 feet reach and you never know.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, go ahead and take an opportunity attack on the southern yellow creeper. Yellow musk zombie.
Nine.
Oh.
I'm
Nine
at Bardic
hits.
Inspiration.
Bardic Inspiration, yes.
That hits anyway.
9
Never mind,
is
never
the
mind about that
AC
part.
of the zombie.
Oh,
Takes 4 stamp. You see his arm, like he throws a punch, and his arm stretches out like fucking Luffy's from One Piece.
Gamanol? All right. It's a meaty hit. Okay. That's going to be the end of the zombies' turns. Grok, it's your move.
Great. Grok, still enraged by this zombie's comment about his wife, he charges straight at him in reckless attack. I guess he doesn't need to reckless attack. He doesn't reckless attack, and he attacks him normally. With
You see
advantage.
the zombie you're trying to
Nicholas
go in
attacked
on.
him for the flavor.
Yeah. Yeah, the zombie you're trying to attack, he is attempting to grapple with Taras. He's trying to like take him down to the ground and do a zombie eating munchie pit, but he's too weak and he rolled a 3. So go ahead and make your attacks.
Cool. Alright, 19. I guess I should just roll to see. 20. Nope. Okay, so 19. Does that hit?
Yes.
Alright. And with one mighty swing of his hammer, he aims straight for the head. Boom, dealing 12 damage.
Much like the gorillon that the dissonant whispers popped his head, you crush this skull of the dwarf and you just leave a torso as he falls to the ground.
Never speak of my wife again.
The vines that had inhabited the skull of this zombie, you see the flowers like wither and curl as they squirm like snakes for a second. That's
Grok,
gonna be-
satisfied, and this is true.
That's going to bring us to the Tarast's turn.
Mhm. So, from the viewpoint of Darask, there's basically been hell breaking loose all around him. Like Jellybean does his arms and whips them around at lightning speed, completely annihilating the body of the big one. Razvan, that's the correct pronunciation, sends his resonances over the battlefield, exploding the mind one of the enemies. Zodo sends a crackling bolt of energy right past Durast into one of the zombies. Now Grok has crushed one of their skulls with a mighty swing of his maul. So Durast says, "Oh, well done, friends." And I'm gonna make 2 attacks against the zombie. As one with my action, one with my bonus action, because I'm a war cleric.
War cleric, let's go.
I don't think there's any way I can get advantage here, because there's nobody else around this one zombie, so I'm just gonna roll normally. That's another nat 1. With my second attack, that's a 14. That hits.
That hits.
So that's 2d6 plus 5, I believe. Yes. 15 bludgeoning damage, magical bludgeoning damage.
How do you want to finish off the last zombie?
Let me think. Sidras brings his maul up, and then slams it down, and all of the stone that's been growing, encrusting on this hammer because of the magic weapon spell, now flows onto the zombie and petrifies it.
Each one of you sees the rock rise out of the earth and slowly entomb this last zombie. It tries to resist and brush it off, but it's already been so weakened it can't resist, as it is literally buried alive.
And then there's a sort of rumbling in the stone, and you see sort of trails of blood flowing from the stone, showing that this thing has been crushed.
Oh, Gara moment. So cool.
Fuck, I hit him with the sand prison.
That rock.
And Wookie thought of the same thing. Sand prison, Gara moment.
Oh, that rocked.
But
All right, so for the moment, you guys are out of initiative order. You guys, as you look around in this moment of, accomplishment, you definitely defended the city a little bit there. But it doesn't last long, because as soon as you turn around, you hear rustling through the leaves. And as you look back towards the forest, once again, emerging from the edges all around this city, Port Nyanzaru. Uploading.
Oh god.
You see 3, 6, 10 Ankylosaurus, and as they move into your proximity, as you get a closer look at them, you see parts of their scales that have fallen off, and their rib cages exposed. Their nose rotted through, brains pooling and dripping down their skulls as they charge directly towards you all. They're fast. For living undead, they move quickly like lightning. And they move towards you all. And as you look back towards the city, you see this massive metal gate starting to lower. And you see very clearly, this is a quick time event.
Oh, wonderful. Love quick time events.
Oh
Each one
dear,
of you-
I don't think we are winning this battle. We should escape.
Yeah, we should go.
Turning to run. Following Zodos' suggestion, each one of you sprints towards the gate and try and get safety before the gate slams shut. Each one of you, please make acrobatics checks or athletics checks as you try and outrun the Ankylosauruses.
I still have my bardic inspiration, so I'm gonna use that.
Long Strider on myself and on Tarast.
What's that do?
So, Wookie, how would you...
That increases movement speed by 10 feet.
Nice.
Okay, so I have
How far away is
35 feet, and I rolled a 22.
Yeah, I'm going to use Word of Evolve.
And what check are we making?
Wookie, when you said gate, do you mean like there's like it's like a bar gate, or is it like a solid wall?
It is a solid wall, but it is like,
All right.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
it's like one of those
Well,
double
that's
doors.
great.
Razvin, you trip, and as you go sprawling, your friends, oh no.
Oh fuck.
I'm just going right there with you.
Can Jellybean do
Oh,
anything
dear,
to like
athletics.
have them go ahead of him? Jellybean's gonna. Can Jellybean do a roll to save them? He can
Jellybean,
get in other ways because he's
To ra-
amorphous. He doesn't have a body.
just slip
Okay,
under the door.
I'm going to use I'm going to use something. Tales from Beyond. Let's see. Okay,
I have
I rolled a
nothing.
4, so
Maybe as they're running, maybe Grok maybe tries to grab one of the, maybe
guys,
Xanadu.
okay, guys. I rolled a 4 before the session, so uh,
Jellybean, would you do me a solid and mute yourself? You're a little
okay,
fuzzy.
okay, everyone.
Sorry.
I use Tell from Beyond, and I roll a 4, which is the Tell of the Runaway. The target can immediately use his reaction to teleport up to 30 feet to an occupied state that he can see. When the target teleports, he can choose a number of creatures that he can see within 30 feet of it, up to my charisma, to immediately use the same reaction. So we everyone teleport 30 feet. At,
What's your charisma modifier?
that is 4.
Zerdos, as you go down sprawling, you look up and you're 30 feet further than you were from the ankylosauruses, which are still quickly gaining, but you look up and the gate is that much closer. And as you pick yourselves up, each one of you is so close to making it into the gate. The last few members of the stalls of this outdoor marketplace are like carting their things quickly inside. Some of them are abandoning them just in the street as these zombies continue to storm and smash their way through the outer buildings on their way towards these huge walls that surround the city. Give me one more.
Is the gate within 30 feet?
It is almost within 30 feet. It's like 50, 60 feet away. The ankylosauruses are about 30 feet behind you. So give me one more acrobatics check to get inside the gate as it's just about to close down. It's got like another 10 feet to go
I'm
before it's
cry
completely
out.
shut.
I'm going to use that same reaction again because I can. I can use it. It is my last bardic inspiration, so everyone teleports again 30 feet to the gate.
As you look behind you, and each one of you sees just this sliver of a crack as the door begins to shut.
Wait. You know why I asked about the 30 feet?
Why?
I have a plan. I'm gonna throw my immovable rod. I'm gonna cry to Zerdos, Zerdos, do something! And my idea is that Zerdos can maybe do a mage hand or something else to press the button on the immovable rod and stop the gate from going down further.
That's a good
I
idea.
think we're good, though. I think we're inside.
Yeah.
All of you are
Yeah,
in the
but
inside, but you see these other people getting trampled and eaten alive, and some of them are getting crushed, and there's like
Did
two
Granny
or three.
Goodness make it?
You see Granny Goodness hobbling, just about to cross the threshold to the gate. If she is so close, but she might get crushed. It's gonna be tight.
Then yeah, I'm definitely having the mage hand drop the parasol to fly over to click the button to get it stuck in place.
The parasol goes.
Ghost, that matched nicely with your outfit.
The parasol spins like a top as it falls to the
Complimented
ground.
your eyes.
You float the immovable rod just to the very tip above Granny Goodness's head, and it just barely in time touches the top of the gate, allows her to, oh, goodness gracious, oh, so terrible outside. You press the button, stops the gate as she crosses the threshold, and then as the Ankylosaurus is about to slam into the gate, you press the button again as the gates begin to get hammered on by these huge hammer tails of the Ankylosauruses.
Oh, thank goodness you made it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Oh, my. I will give you 3 parasols for life anytime you come by my shop. Oh, my goodness.
That will not be necessary, but I'm sure my friends would not mind. That was quick thinking, Trust. I will have the mage hand float the rod back to you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Chance.
There's now also, just below the collar, you can see another rune glowing.
Grok could have taken those.
Jellybean's gonna walk over to Grok. Jellybean's gonna walk over to Grok, still like 6 foot tall with humongous fucking beefy arms, and like puts his hand on his shoulder and goes, "Would've." And then he's just gonna form back down to his 3-foot blob form.
It's truly amazing what's inside that gelatinous body.
Yes, I quite agree. It is quite fascinating.
Grok
Please,
Here to
could you
Zerdo sound like
explain?
Sean Connery.
I'm gonna walk up to Jellybean. Could you please explain how you're able to do this? Holding my notebook.
Jellybean like looks up, like you could tell that the eyes in his face, they aren't actually like a part of him. They're pseudo eyes. They're just like little kind of glowy rocks. And he just goes, "Yeah, well, you see, I kind of do this," and he just gets up to humanoid form again, and then he just changes back down to just a 2-armed form, and then a 3-armed form, and then he just goes back to his normal blob form. I just kind of do that.
Do you understand the process of how you do that?
It's like the breathing thing you guys do. Like that.
Fascinating. Just quickly jotting things down.
You'll learn to
loves
get used to
breathing.
it. It's pretty impressive at first, but it's actually second nature to Jellybean. He's very resourceful and useful ally. But in any case, don't become too amused with his antics. They could be a little distracting. In any case. And Syndra comes back over to the group as she made it inside the gates quite a while ago. As she saw all the activity and the fighting go down, she immediately got to a safe place, but sees that you all made it inside and rejoins the group. I will be making my way to Wakanda's villa on the Merchant's Hill. The rest of you, I suggest you find lodging in either the Thundering Lizard or it's the House of Repose. I believe it's... yes. Kaya's House of Repose. Both lovely establishments here in Nyanzaru. Completely up to your standards, I'm sure. Have them put the tab on my name. I'll pay for it. Rest up.
That is quite generous.
No. We're here for a mission. It's the least I could do. Rest up. I'll come and find you.
Well,
Also, there might be some other tasks we could do in the city. As she begins to lead you all down the streets of the city, there's still quite an air of fear in the city as the gates and the walls, they continue to get beat against by this latest round of zombie incursions against the city. But this is not the first time the city's dealt with this, and you can tell that this might even be a usual occurrence. The walls are thick, reinforced doors are now closed, and warriors from all over the city carrying their standard axes with their obsidian tips and their colorful shields are rushing to reinforce the city wall's defenders. And as you make your way towards these establishments, these taverns, she continues to let you know what might increase your chances of success while here in Cholt. A guide would be very useful. Someone local, someone who knows their way around. Also, wouldn't do any damage to be able to find some allies here in town. Increase our avenues and our resources of success. there's anyone here that you run into that might need some help, go ahead and ask them how we can be of service.
That sounds like a good idea.
Well
Yes.
said.
Yes, I'm quite eloquent. I was before. In any case, yes, obviously the brains of the group be resting at Ukanga's villa. Please, rest up, and I'll find you soon.
We will.
Well, friends, shall we go to this House of Repose or the Thundering Lizard?
Whichever you prefer.
Being Richard is kind of a good option. Or let's go find a tavern. Or a inn.
Yes, quite. We shall head. We're gonna head to the Kaya's House of Repose.
Okay. So, discussing it over, you guys are like Thundering Lizard, Kaya's House of Repose. Well, Propose sounds nice. That's obviously the nicer of the two establishments. We'll go there.
Yes, that would be the line of logic.
Despite all the chaos, Zerdos has not. A smile has not left his face. He
It's
is
been a
happy
pretty-
to be among quite interesting races to study.
Interesting races, flamboyant culture, absolutely one of the most colorful places you've ever been. This is very interesting.
Anthropologist's dream.
It truly is. And
And
this, not only this group is drawing a lot of the different races of the world here, the wealth and the sheer, the riches of the jungles of Chult are clearly a powerhouse in economic force, and it's bringing and drawing a lot of the other races, a lot of different travelers from all over the world here, and you are just a kid in a candy shop. As you continue through the city looking for Kaya's House of Repose, you pass by these huge dinosaur pens, and they're a little rambunctious. You see within these huge bamboo cages ankylosauruses that are not zombies. Like they're still very much alive, and some of them are a bit agitated and bouncing off the walls of their cages. You see triceratopses, and some of them are halfway in and out of these harnesses that pull these huge reinforced carts around the different stalls and hills, in which are topped with these huge bazaars and outdoor villas. These market wards that go in between these different hilltops, you can tell that each one of them has a different purpose. Some of them focus more around jewels as you pass through them. Some of them around metals pulled in from the different dwarven settlements throughout Chult. You notice different kind of insignias and brands that are made and melted into the metal. Some of them are focused completely on textiles, and you see these same wild colors. And as you move around the different hills, you see one of these huge cliffs is just stained with these different dyes that are dripping down the side, and it's just a colorful rainbow that is dripping down. Is like a liquid acid rainbow that's oozing down the rocks. There's no earth color, there's no brown, there's yellows and pinks, rose, and every color imaginable that's just oozing out of the dye works on top of this hill. And you make your way through all of that, and you find this part of the city that you've made your way into after asking for directions from numerous times. There are all these wonderful waterworks. Each time you look around the city, you see a new and fantastic artistic piece. It's either a fountain that kids are running and playing in between these different spouts of water that like sprout up from the ground, and they run in between them, trying not to get wet, but invariably always do. You see these different statues that pour water from one into another, and the movement is just absolutely incredible. This is right on the edge of perpetual motion machines, with the different buckets that whirl around these wheels into these various components and apparatuses. It's just absolutely playful and wonderful. And as you make your way through these different rain catchers that catch the rain as it comes down and store it in these wonderfully ingenious contraptions, you find a public bathhouse that on the outside reads Kaya's House of Repose. And as you make your way inside this huge archways that take people in off the streets, you see people walking around in robes. They are laughing and chasing each other from one bathhouse to the next. There are these pools. Some of them look ice cold, and you're not sure how they keep the temperatures this hot or that cold. Some of them are almost like fizzy and bubbling, but they're not boiling. They just look like they have a lot of bubbles. And it's into all this, you see this long countertop and different bathgoers coming up, getting drinks. These wonderfully fruity smells are permeating the air, and it's to this environment that you come into. And this very attractive and athletic woman sits behind the counter.
Well, this is not quite what I expected.
Oh, it's magnificent, isn't it?
It is quite fascinating. Wonder what kind of enchantments they use to keep the water so cold.
I wonder what it would be like to go into one of these bathhouses.
Well, shall we find out?
No, we shall.
You guys walk right into the bathhouse, and no one stops you. What are you doing?
I'm gonna be heading up to the counter.
Absolutely. It doesn't take long. Naya looks around and sees you guys like wide-eyed, clearly from not around here. She comes up to you. Oh, yes, how can I help you?
We were initially looking for a place to rest our heads, but we have found something better for the time being. We would like to partake of your bathhouses.
Absolutely. Anyone's welcome to my bathhouse. Please help yourselves, and afterwards, if you would like to catch some meal, gain your strength back, I'd be happy to set you up with some rooms as well.
Great. Just go to him and says,
Most excellent. How much is it to partake?
Depends. You are looking for your own separate rooms?
Grok
What
has
did the
no
rest of the
qualms
group-
in sharing a room.
I
Grok
guess the
has
question is,
nothing
how
to
many
hide.
beds are in a room?
Well, we have all sorts of different rooms for everyone's different needs. We have families. We have also more luxurious options as well. If you'd like to go basic and put everyone in the same room, we could definitely accommodate that. However, if you'd each like your own room and on the more fancy side, we could definitely accommodate that as well.
What about we share the same room, comrades? Or?
Grok has no qualms with this.
I
Never
don't
split
mind
the
getting a little
party.
crowded.
Jellybean looks up and just goes, I just need like a bowl or something. I don't need a bed. Don't spend money on a bed for me. I just need a bowl.
I think just one room then.
Very nice. All right, I'll set you up. Here's your room key. After you head out to the public bath, so go ahead and make a left up the stairs. That'll be your room is, let's see, 3B.
Thank you.
what?
How much?
How long will you be here? I can go ahead and put it on your tab. I remember your face.
Oh, yes, put
We
it
were told to
on...
put it on the tab of Syndra.
Yes.
Syndra,
Syndra's back
whatever her
in
last
town,
name is, 'cause
she?
Syndra Silvane.
Syndra. I always like to see my girl coming back in through town. You know what she did the last time she was here, huh?
Grok
I'm sure
literally
I
has
do.
no idea.
Ah, so rather scandalous. Our Kanga, he gets up to no good sometimes. He's a real easy mark for the beautiful ladies. Sometimes they just twist them around their finger. And that's what happened the last time she was here. Had Otamu running all over the place for her.
Sounds like a good job that she had. Huh?
And then I guess I'm spreading rumors I shouldn't spread. You all have a good time while you're here. Let me know if you need anything, refreshments. I'll be right where I always am.
Thank you.
Thank you kindly.
Gonna head up to the room
Yeah, same. Raisin's gonna
just
look
to drop stuff off, and then I'm gonna go to the baths.
Yeah, same.
Grok's
Leave
going
my
to-
weapons and armor there.
Yeah, and as
Yeah,
you
I'm gonna-
guys disappear into the bathhouse and start checking out the different pools, resting up, maybe imbibing a little bit of this tropical fruit juice, we're going to leave it there
The
tonight.
only thing I do not depart from is a necklace that has a vial of some sort of dark fluid around my neck. And also, one thing you would see is in my stomach, there's almost a hole, like a divot in my gut that has lines coming off of it, a deep scar that looks like necrotic energies.
It's us. Oh boy. Yeah, you got to get
And
a
then
good look at
also
each
you'd
other.
be able to see the runes in pure exposure. Just the one on my collarbone, one on the back of my right hand, and then one on my forehead.
What do the rest of y'all look like as you disrobe to enter the tubs? And you see most of the people are going into the tubs nude, but there are some that are more modest that are wearing their underwear or bathing suits.
Raisin
Essentially-
is gonna...
I want a Japanese scene where you're all going into the bathhouse together. I want an anime scene where you're all doing the beach scene. It's the beach episode.
All right.
Jellybean. Jellybean just looks like a mannequin, but like some.
You'll dissipate.
It's fine. Jellybean's got surface tension. Jellybean has goes into humanoid shape when he's bored, because it's more challenging to move like that. You know, he don't got no bones or muscles.
I got no bones.
And occasionally, if he's super bored, you see him try to imitate people around him, but he still has the jelly mannequin look. He has no facial features, but you can tell he's trying to imitate somebody, including their clothes.
Y'all
Did
see
you
my
try to imitate Zerdos's horns?
Oh yeah, no, he absolutely took Zerados' form, including the horns, and he spent 20 minutes trying to get the horns right.
Just a little droopy. Zerdos is probably trying to guide him on no, quite a little more pointy.
harder.
Grok,
got to be harder.
He
I have a
finds a
question.
chair, and he gets a towel and he tucks in his maul on a chair, and then he takes off his clothes and slowly goes into the water because he's very hot and he needs relaxation in his life.
Raisin is he's gonna look around the bath and does he see people playing traditional Japanese flute, lyre or something like this to appease the people in the bath?
Ah, yes, a Japanese flute in a Mediterranean bathhouse. Very,
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
Oh, it's just asking if there's people playing music.
there's all kinds of cultures here. Maybe.
There does seem to be a bit of a impromptu band. There's mostly, you see 4 or 5 different people
banging drums, and one of them is playing a flute, and it is a very rhythmic pattern that they're playing. It is quite relaxing.
All right. He is going to go to that and like just casually whisper. Wait. I gotta up my sensitivity for that because I'm going to whisper. Give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, can I guys play with you?
Join on, join up with us.
All right. Is gonna take. Is gonna ask like.
What do you guys have as instrument that I can join you with?
Whatever you got, man.
He's gonna put out his mic. He's gonna pull out his instrument that he have, like his magic items, which is a mic Fermid Cythern, which is a lyre. Yeah, lyre, and he's going to recreate the sand rhythm that they have.
Give me a performance check.
Okay.
See if you can keep the rhythm.
All right. Well, wait a minute. I have my thing called mimicry. I can accurately mimic sound I have heard. Just like I can literally recreate the rhythm that they have. Do you want me to make a performance check with advantage using this thing?
Makes sense to me. Make a performance check with advantage.
All right. And I'm going to guidance myself in that.
Absolutely adequate.
All right. That's going to
18?
be 18. Yeah.
Not only are you able to keep the rhythm, you're able to add a little bit of flair, a little bit of solos in between the different rhythms. Everyone's pretty impressed, and they all begin to smiling. People, when they walk by you, bounce a little bit, pep in their step. They're absolutely bringing a flair to this environment that's much appreciated. And as each one of you just really settles in to relaxing into the hot springs.
Also, everyone, I'm going to put out the song of rest. So to add a little bit more flavor so everyone can fully rest, like peacefully. Everyone can gain a D6 if they want to heal themselves.
Well, I want to add something too, just the flavor-wise. Before they went to the bathhouse, Jellybean took out his pseudo eyes, so he's just a blob now. There's no glowy eyes, and it makes him look a lot less friendly.
Oh God!
Does he still have the bow tie?
No, he took the bow tie off. It's a,
Don't get that wet. That's just like that's
Oh.
his whole personality right there.
yeah, that's his one item of clothing.
Amazing.
Raven is going to. He has like a white robe on him. Sadly, I can. It is black, but just picture yourself that it is white. Just gotta like keep it on, even if it is hot. But he would have removed his armor, but you just see him like just casually playing and covers himself with this robe, his white robe, and it's comfy for him, and he plays with the band, and yeah, if you guys are if they are allowed to make a short rest, yeah, they can regain 1d6 healing damage. Yeah.
Everybody go ahead and take a d6 as the camera zooms out. One person like casts eyes over at Jellybean. Nanya, think there's something wrong with one of the pools. We're gonna end it there.
So,
Upon hearing something is wrong with one of the pools, Jellybean immediately turns into just a shapeless form on the ground like he
Oh,
did whenever they
Jesus.
teleported.
Oh no! Oh my God! What's going on over here? It's spreading. Diane! All the way north. Thank y'all very much for playing this week. Good night.
Thank you for DMing.
Alrighty, thank you. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Just
I
have
like
to
this group.
get back to story again.
Though I didn't get to describe Tarast going into the bathhouse.
Oh, hit us
Oh,
real
man.
fast. I haven't clicked stop recording yet.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, Tarast, since this bathhouse isn't wearing anything, a dwarf isn't ashamed of his own body. But he is wearing his holy symbol, which is a small hammer made of stone, around his neck, like a pendant, instead of on his belt like usual. And he doesn't say much, he's mostly just enjoying the bathhouse, like the different pools. And you can see him occasionally cast thaumaturgy to sort of bubble the water up.
And as the
While not
bubbles,
messing with the jelly beans, Zerdos is probably off to the side, talking to himself, but also his mage hand is writing down things for him in his book.
as you all settle in and relax, observing, taking notes, the bubbles grow a little bit too intense around you, Tarast. And as you look down, it's like, wait, I didn't cast thaumaturgy that time. You see rising up out of the waters is a velociraptor skull. And then there's like 10, and they all eat you alive. And there's blood in the water. And then they're just eating you alive. And there's velociraptors everywhere in the bathhouse. It's complete chaos. Everyone's running around. Oh, God, Taras, no! Oh, God!
Yeah, the whole water is dark red from the blood.
Oh my fuck. Okay.